Title: From Liberia to America, A Journey of Hope. In a small village in Liberia, the sun rose every morning like a promise. Golden light spilled over red clay paths, over mango trees heavy with fruit, over the faces of children laughing and chasing each other through the warm morning air. For one little girl, this was the whole world, and it was beautiful. Her mother's arms were her shelter. Her grandmother's voice was her lullaby. Her family sat together every evening, sharing food, sharing stories, sharing a love so deep it felt unbreakable. She did not know yet how wide the world was. She only knew this village, these people, this warmth. And in that simplicity, there was a richness that no amount of money could ever buy. Liberia was not just a place she lived. It was woven into her heartbeat, her laughter, her dreams. It was home in every sense of the word, and she was loved completely. The day the suitcases came out, something shifted in the air. The little girl watched her mother fold clothes with trembling hands, pressing each piece carefully as if trying to hold on to something that was already slipping away. Her father spoke in quiet, serious tones to the elders of the family. There were long embraces that lasted too long because everyone knew what goodbye really meant this time. At the airport, aunties wept openly. Cousins clung to each other. Her grandmother cupped the little girl's face in her worn, gentle hands and whispered words that would echo for a lifetime. The family was leaving Liberia, not because they wanted to, but because they believed in a future that this moment could not yet show them. The plane was waiting, the future was waiting, and with hearts full of grief and hope tangled together, they walked through those doors and did not look back. Somewhere over the Atlantic Ocean, the world below disappeared into clouds. The little girl pressed her face against the small oval window and watched the earth vanish beneath a sea of white. Her father held her mother's hand. Her mother held her Bible. And together, this family of dreamers flew through the dark and the uncertainty, praying softly, trusting deeply. There were hours of silence, hours of wondering what America would look like, what it would feel like, whether it would be kind to them. Fear sat in the cabin alongside them, but so did something stronger: faith. The kind of faith that does not need to see the destination to keep moving forward. They had left everything familiar behind. They were crossing an ocean with little more than hope and each other. But sometimes, hope and each other is exactly enough to carry you all the way to the other side. America was nothing like she had imagined. The streets were wide and cold, and full of strangers who spoke too fast and looked straight through her. School was the hardest place she had ever been. Words she did not know surrounded her like walls. She sat in classrooms where she understood almost nothing and went home exhausted from the effort of simply existing in a language that was not yet hers. There were days she cried quietly into her pillow, missing the smell of her grandmother's cooking, missing the sound of her village waking up. But she was her mother's daughter, and her mother had not crossed an ocean to watch her quit. So she opened her books. She stayed after class. She asked questions. She made one friend, then two. Slowly, painfully, beautifully, she began to find her footing. America was hard, but she was harder. And every single day, she chose to keep going. Years passed, and the little girl who once could not find the right words became a woman who knew exactly who she was. She built something with her own hands, her own mind, her own relentless will. And on the day she stood in front of what she had created, with the Liberian flag and the American flag side by side behind her, she felt the full weight of the journey all at once. Every early morning, every late night, every moment of doubt she had pushed through, every tear her mother had quietly wiped away so the children would not see. It had all led here. She had not just survived the journey, she had turned it into something that would outlast her struggle and become her legacy. 2 flags, 2 countries, one unbreakable story. She had honored where she came from by becoming everything she had dared to dream. She stands at the edge of the evening now, watching the sun sink slow and golden toward the horizon, painting the sky in colors that remind her of home. Both homes, because that is what she carries. two homelands living inside one heart. She thinks of her grandmother's hands. She thinks of that airport goodbye. She thinks of the little girl on the plane, pressing her face to the glass, afraid and hoping all at once. And she wants that little girl, and every child who has ever left everything behind in search of something better, to know this. Your journey is not a burden. It is your power. The distance you have traveled, the pain you have carried, the courage it took just to begin again in an unfamiliar world, that is the stuff of something extraordinary. Never forget where you came from. Let it fuel you. Let it ground you. Let it remind you that your story was always worth telling, and it is only just beginning.